First, I don't know how, I want to show you a coyote skull. You see, it's not too big. If you can see it in relation to my hands, it's very narrow compared to some other larger predators. But you can see the teeth. They have those, canid teeth that are good for eating and killing stuff. So very good at biting into the neck. So some people say, is it coyote or coyote? Most of my biologist friends call it a coyote. I think that's more kind of a Western thing. People pronounce it out there. So I don't know if I should say coyote or coyote, or should I just continue? I guess I'll say coyote because it's less syllables, right? So the coyote is a member of the canid family, which evolved in North America 5.3 million years ago, quite a long time. Many of the other species of canids, such as wolves and jackals and wild dogs, spread around the globe via land bridges connecting America to Europe and Asia. But the coyotes never left, and they evolved as a distinct species around 1 million years ago here. While the early colonists successfully culled or wiped out wolves, cougars, grizzly bears, and greatly diminished black bear populations over vast regions of the continent in our war against predators, the coyote is now more widespread than when Europeans arrived in North America. And at that time, they were west of the Mississippi. So Mark Twain also kind of maligned the coyote. In his classic 1870s book, Roughing It, the author launched into a 4-page comic rant about the coyote as a cowardly, despicable little wretch that lives off carrion. I'd like to read quickly something else he said. He said, the coyote is a long, slim, sick, and sorry-looking skeleton with a gray wolf skin stretched over it. So he really had a dim view of the coyote. Despite all this, coyotes have proliferated in the face of a century of intensive persecution. Over 500,000 are killed per year, even today, many of those from helicopters and planes, but have again and again confirmed their intelligence and adaptability in the face of adversity. They have indeed proven worthy of folklore, and you all know the Wile E. Coyote. He came up in the 60s. They say he was inspired by Mark Twain's ridicule of the coyote. And as we know, the Wile E. Coyote, even though a coyote can run faster than a road runner, he never wins. Also in the 60s, Walt Disney, for some reason, decided to feature coyotes in his cartoons. They were first documented in Connecticut in the 1950s. Since then, they have expanded their range and now common throughout the state. They're opportunistic and adaptable, which is one of the reasons why they've survived so well, even though they're largely persecuted. They're an amazing example of what I call ecological generalists. They are intelligent and inquisitive and can quickly recognize and adapt to new habitat and opportunities, which mean if it's not working where they are for food and shelter, they'll just move on to somewhere else. They're very enterprising and have colonized many kinds of habitats, from forests to grasslands to suburbia, even urban areas. Like Connecticut's many animals, they're becoming urbanized, which means that they can tolerate a certain amount of growth and buildings and still exist. Because one reason is they feed on vermin. And in a lot of cities, there's a lot of garbage dumpsters and garbage out on the street, and the vermin come to the garbage, and thus the coyotes have something to eat. Again, being opportunistic, they travel where the food is available. They'll sneak on porches to eat dog food, hang around bird feeders to prey on small critters that linger there, steal from trash cans, and they'll even leap into apple trees to get the fruit. They do eat fruit as well. A coyote's favorite food is anything it can chew. Again, as I said, they're opportunistic, and whatever's most easily available, they'll eat it. Here he's eating a little mouse or a shrew or vole. Their primary foods include fruit, berries, small rodents, rabbits, birds, snakes, frogs, and insects, but they don't eat toads. Suburban areas, they might prey upon unprotected pets, including outdoor house cats and unsupervised domestic dogs. Generally smaller dogs, but we recommend that you never leave your dogs unsupervised. Right now it's mating season, so they're moving around a little bit. Because they utilize so many different food sources, again, they have adapted and can live almost anywhere. They're usually shy and elusive, but they are frequently seen individually, in pairs, or in small groups where food is found. A family group, more commonly known as a pack, consists of the parents, their pups, and occasionally the previous year's pups. Thus, the size of their families can vary widely. Male and female stay together for life unless one is lost or if they're not producing litters. Their prey species range with the seasons. In the winter, they will prey on ungulates such as deer, elk, and pronghorns. That time of year, oftentimes, it's hard for these ungulates to get around in the snow, so the coyotes will take advantage of that. And they also weaken because they don't have as much food to eat. It's hard for them to move, and it makes them vulnerable. The coyote has a very developed sense of smell, which he uses for finding food and avoiding dangerous predators. They're able to detect hunters coming from a mile away or even more. So again, they are very wary, but they also have their senses that are heightened that can help them in a situation where they need to be helped. So their range is 2 to 10 square miles. The males and females raise their pups together. The average lifespan 5 to 7 years. Sometimes in their teens, they have been known to live to be 15 years. But again, they are a very preyed upon predator, shot often when someone finds them in their yard. They are, though, highly territorial, and they actively keep non-family members outside their territory, both individual coyotes and other family groups. So they breed from January to March. Pups are usually born in the den in April to mid-May. They have 1 to 12. The average is 7. Sometimes, depending on if there's less density of coyote, they might have more, because maybe the survival rate's not as good. It's one of those interesting things about nature. The male and female usually, as I said, maintain pair bonds for life. And although some of these coyotes may exhibit bold behavior near people, the risk of a coyote attacking a person is extremely low. But it can increase if they're intentionally fed. And yes, people do intentionally feed coyotes. I can't even understand why. But because of these misconceptions and fears about coyotes, many people don't recognize that they do have beneficial aspects to and contribute to our ecosystem. Predators such as coyotes serve a valuable function in keeping prey species in balance with their habitat. Populations of small animals like rodents can increase out of control without predators. Coyotes can reduce the number of small animals that farmers, gardeners, and homeowners consider pests, such as woodchucks and other rodents. If you are confronted by a coyote, you can throw things at it. Never run. It's not a good idea to run from wild animals. They if they don't see you as running prey, they might think you're wanting to play. Don't let them intimidate you. Don't hesitate to threaten or scare them with loud noises.
Hey, 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 hey! Get! Get out of here! Go on! That's it! Keep going! Yeah! Get back to your own place! Ha! 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 Ah! Ha! Ah! Ha! Get! Ah! Yeah!
They will raid open trash materials and compost piles. So secure your garbage in tough containers with tight-fitting lids. And again, always we recommend take out the garbage early in the morning, not the previous night. They do view cats and small dogs as potential food and larger dogs as competition. So keep them all under your control at all times. And again, feed pets indoors, not outdoors. It's just, like I said, I've told people, a bear can smell an empty dog dish from like 2 miles away. And so these other predators that rely on smell, though their sense of smell is not as good as a bear's, they can smell those empty dishes and they think there's food there. If you have birdseed out, even in the winter, keep the area clean underneath it. So that'll keep the small mammals away that these coyotes prey upon. We all are healthier having all these animals around, but we all have to learn how to live with each other.